Welcome back to Her the Nerd and this final video in the Moneyball series as we look at team selection and the tactics under the Moneyball principle. So how this one's slightly different because it's more about how you use your internal team judgments. One, you can use it in your contracts, you can use it in your transfers and your scouting, but also how you pick your first team, as well as the tactic you set up with to make the most of those kind of transfer rules as well. So it's about judging your team performance, but yeah, it has lots of links. Bit of a strange one, but we'll go through it right now. If you are enjoying the series so far, please do hit the like button on this video, hit the subscription button for the channel, I'll be much appreciated, and a notification bell. We will be bringing out the season reviews of the Moneyball save so you can get up to speed with the live Twitch save, which is streamed on twitch.tv/HerTheNerd on Mondays and Wednesdays 7:30 through to about midnight. So you can catch us live there, keep up where we are, ask any questions you have, one in the comments down below, but also come and hit me live on Twitch, ask me questions, I'll be able to go through anything you'd like around the Moneyball save and the approach and why I've picked the rules the way I've picked the rules. But for now, let's get into team selection and tactics under the Moneyball principles. Woohoo! So let me walk you through my journey on formations and team selection under Moneyball, from how it started in season 1 to kind of where I've got to in season 4, taking the approach, some of the tidbits and some of the advice I'd heard around formations, and then where I've kind of got to on there. So originally we stuck to a few rules that stuck out for me, things like a clean sheet is worth the equivalent of 2 goals. So in my head that equaled be defense minded. Don't let in goals, and therefore it's the equivalent of scoring 2 goals. So you need to score 1 goal a game and you'll win your games, you'll get your performance. Also things like strikers cost more than other roles. So strikers are the most expensive players. I equaled that to then saying, well, limit your striker roles in the system. So retraining your non-strikers. Don't buy strikers, buy attacking wingers. Play them as strikers to get goals. Therefore, when they do score some goals, you'll maximise that player and be able to sell them. So that kind of leading me into playing a more defensive-minded approach. Season 1, we had a lot of defenders. We played a kind of 5 at the back formation with the MK Dons. I didn't really see too much. Struggled to be defensive-minded. Bear in mind, 2 of my back 3 were 35, so I struggled a little bit. But yes, we're looking at it and then trying to reread into the rules and reread into those pieces of information to kind of tweak and change them to fit what we needed to do. Also, we had to balance in FM, obviously, the club vision, the club culture, where they wanted us to play attacking, fast-paced football. So I kind of rewrote the rules and re-looked at those and said, well, yes, a clean sheet is worth the equivalent of 2 goals. So instead of we must be defence-minded, we just must be conscious that we need to have quality defence and limit the amount of goals we let in. So we don't need to be defence-minded so much, but we need to make sure we're not too gung-ho. We need to make sure that we're balanced. If we're on a positive, that we have quality in defence, or we have the holding in midfield to enable us to attack properly but be confident at the back. So quality players should be purchased at the back. So if your strikers are expensive, well, spend the money on defenders instead and make sure that your defence is as quality as it can be. Because if you then rewrite the second rule around strikers costing more than other roles and about retraining strikers, well, actually, yes, let's put more strikers in. Let's have more attacking roles. Let's have more players scoring more goals. Those players that score more goals, that perform better, will have bigger increases in value and therefore be able to be sold for more money. So yes, let's buy wingers, let's buy attacking wingers, let's turn them into goal machines, and let's make more money for them. On the back of the risk can be taken on the front half of the pitch, because the back half of the pitch, the defensive-minded pitch, we've spent the money and we've shored up our defence. So we kind of rewrote and then came in with different style of tactics, and we've migrated now to more of a 4-2-2-2 model, where we are very attack heavy, very strong going forward, because what we're trying to do is actually beat teams down, get more players scoring goals, so more players are playing at a higher higher average rating, therefore increasing their value, increasing how the game perceives how well they are playing, how much they're worth. Therefore, we can make more money off the back of them. So we kind of went through that journey ourselves. And then there's lots around team selection and using statistics, which we'll go in and jump and have a look at that now. So another squad review. This one coming from Mr. Friday Night FM, part of the wonderful WeStream FM. Downloaded his squad reviews and tweaked it slightly so I can save down this tweaked version for you guys to download as well. But this is my kind of standard squad view, just across the whole board of judging players, looking at who's performing well, not performing well. We can also do some stuff within the tactics screen as well. You can see here, this is the formation we're rocking at the moment. We're using even the wingbacks on attack to get as many players forward as possible, migrating from when we had a 5 at the back, 3 midfield, solid formation. But how then you use these kind of squad views to just have a look at, okay, how are people playing? Last 5 games, who's dropping into the bottom quartile? If I was to flip this last 5 games and look, where are my players not playing well? If I'm seeing subs in here, it's not too bad. It means I've probably subbed them for being terrible. But someone like Adam Phillips, why, as a first choice central midfielder, is he not performing to the level as everybody else? I mean, at the same time, he's playing at a 6.92. It's pretty damn good. It's because we're playing quite well at the moment. We're sat second in the league. But looking at players that might drop outside the quartile, to go in and have a look at their statistics. If we're then judging just things across the board, we've got some XG in here, we've got some goals per game. How are people really getting on? Timmy Abraham's team, he's come in, he's been amazing. But also looking for outliers on the bench. If I'm looking for the substitutes, like who's been performing well, we actually recently have been getting really good performance from Connor Stanley, so I don't want to lose that. How do I get him in more regularly in the team? Do I need to make a wider scale challenge to bring him in full time to get the most out of the team? So I use a general squad view to judge, okay, just on some of the key statistics around goals, around assists, around passes, how are people getting on? It's got their training rating in there, their morale, things so I can just manage using statistics on an ongoing basis to say, right, do I need to look at someone? But say I did, let's pick the central midfielder, Adam Phillips, out and say, he isn't performing as well, maybe we should be looking into his role. If I'm going to do that and have a little judge, I then will bring in my Moneyball squad view for my supporting unit. Why the supporting unit? Within the tactic, I have here my defensive unit. Some of these guys could be pulled in. At the moment, we're doing quite well without too many defensive unit. Supporting, I'd then take wing backs and central midfielders because they are supporting roles. And attacking, I'd probably take my attacking 3 players here. Maybe the AP role would be attacking, maybe supporting, I'd decide. But based on my tactic, I've broken it down rather than into roles and positions, into what they're doing for the team. Because what their job is for the team is how I should be judging their output statistics. So Adam Phillips playing in a bloody get the words out. Adam Phillips playing in a DLP, deep line playmaker role there, be judged as a supporting player. So I'll be then bringing up my Moneyball support roles. Because I know I want to look at my central midfielders, I'll be looking at my midfielders who can play through the middle. So now I can bring in everyone that has the ability to play in that role and have a look at specifically the support KPIs that I'm looking for those positions. So one I like to look at, not from the beginning, is just bringing the appearances in. Make sure I'm ranking them for who's played the most games. Don't get caught out or watch to get caught out by appearances. And then just looking at how they're performing across the board. Should I be dropping someone else in? Adam Phillips is a DLP. And someone like Zane Westbrook plays in there a lot. Zane Westbrook has played fair few more games than Phillips. Can play that DLP role, but has been playing actually as a ball midfielder and getting assists from that role. Alan Phillips is not really performing. So how do I judge him against here? How is he performing? His pass completion is actually looking quite good. His passes attempted are actually probably the highest. They are the highest. So actually, looking at his key passes. So his passes that are, he's playing safer passes. He's crossing. He's not really attempting crossing. He's not hitting him when he's attempting either. He's intercepting a bit more as well. It might be that actually he's intercepting more and playing safer passes than Zane Westbrook is. So maybe the role is actually to switch those two around. Whilst he might like to be a DLP, maybe he would be better dropping into the ball-winning midfielder role, which he's not naturally as good at, but to give a go. Or he gets dropped out completely. Zane Westbrook steps into that role as a more what's the word I'm looking for? As a better performing DLP, essentially. He's getting more assists, better passes coming out for him, better key passes coming out for him. And we drop in maybe someone like a Jordan Lydon, who is my backup ball-winning midfielder, to come in and pick up the interceptions and perform slightly better than Zane Westbrook is. So this is what I'll then use here to make decisions on team selection as I'm going forward. Spot via the overall team performance or from your own eyes when you're watching the game, like what's your actual view on players, then use this to judge them from here. We also, a big part of using this this data is to then look for new players. So I was then saying, okay, I don't have the ability within the rest of the team. I need a new central midfielder. How will I then go out and use the filter? We talked about this in the scouting to go and find someone that's appropriate. Well, if I'm looking at some of the key attributes, I'll be looking at something like a pass completion ratio. My players in that central midfield position play at high 80s pass completion. So when I'm going in and looking at scouting, that's something I want to keep going with my formation. Those guys are the passers of the team. They're the central pins. When I'm in here looking for players, looking for the player search support screen, and I'm then filtering, if I add in my filter for support players, in my pass completion, I've got it here at 70%. Actually, I might be saying I want 80% minimum. I don't want to look at anyone unless they're hitting that 80% minimum on the thing. And I can choose to use all or some of these, depending on what I'm looking at, to say, well, if I want to find someone better than Adam Phillips, he needs to be hitting a lot more of these. Actually, I want to make sure his key passes is only 1.6 per 90 minutes. How do I pick someone that's getting more than that? So I'm looking for players that are outperforming Adam currently, who I can then go and scout and see if they're any good and pull in. So using my current team, and I wouldn't just use it off one player, I'd use it across the board. So that's how I then kind of use the individual ones to build my view of how my squad look, as how I judge my squad on a kind of week-to-week basis. And when I'm looking for players, how I pick ones that sit above. And it's always good just to keep an eye on who is performing, who might be dropping off, who is a first-team player in your selection that isn't really performing as well here. And is there anything you should be doing about that and should be changing? Should be rotating some players out. And also things like the morale and how they're feeling their condition to do the rotation, to give players a chance. So if you're looking for rotation to come in, you want to rest the player. Well, then who, if the subs have actually performed well in their training, who have performed well when they've come on from the bench, who are showing that on their per 90-minute stats, they should be given a go. Let's give them the go rather than somebody else. I run quite a lean squad, so I don't have very many options. But that's how I do it. If I'm judging a player to come in, I'll use those statistics to say, well, when they've come on, who's actually performed well? Who's actually done something with the 20 minutes of game time they got? Can I give them more of a go and see if they can build some more onto those statistics? And then obviously you use that information to set your benchmark for the players you're looking for going forward, which kind of counteracts some of the inefficiencies of the statistics in FM, where they're missing statistics for some data. They're missing for you to search, well, they're missing for your team as well. So create your benchmarks based on the data you have available, and as long as you're buying players or looking for players that beat your current team's benchmark, you should be looking for players that are outperforming your current team. And if those players, when you scout them, are from teams that aren't valuing that player well, or that player is transfer listed, or you can see a deal coming up on that player, they're going to go out of contract, even better, because you're putting them then in for your scouts, in for your scout reports, and into your shortlist, ready for when that bid comes in for Adam Phillips, that I can flick to my shortlist, 4 central midfielders, here, and say, right, which of these players do I want to bring in? So that's kind of how I use tactics. Like I say, remember that things like clean sheets and being sound, spending money on your defense, but again, play it the way you perceive the roles, and depending on the team you've got and what they want to do. I had to change it up because I wanted to go defensive heady. It didn't really work. My club culture is attacking, possession, entertaining football. I can't play free at the back. I have to play all-out attack because that's what the board want from me. That's going to keep me in a job. So we will leave that there for the Moneyball series. Like I say, if you want to catch it live, catch it on Twitch Mondays and Wednesdays. The details down below and where to follow so you get the notification when I'm live. Make sure you like and subscribe. And this one, if you want to catch up, we will be doing some season reviews and some slightly different reviews of how the season has gone with Moneyball in a kind of story-based mode. That will be coming next once this whole Moneyball kind of FM series is done on how to play the game. Again, any questions in the comments down below. Happy to answer all questions, or catch me on Twitch, catch me on Twitter, ask me anything. I'm happy to go through why I've set rules a certain way or whether there's tweaks. It is a game. You can do what you want. Don't let people tell you Moneyball cannot be done, because it can. It can, and it's a different way of playing. I've really enjoyed setting it out this way and giving myself a challenge, slightly different challenge, to use statistics to try and set the business side up of the football team slightly differently. Having no reserves and having no youth team is kind of mind-blowing for me. Not trying to pick up 5-star new gens. Absolutely different way of playing. So I hope you enjoy it. Let me know if you're trying it down below. Let me know the teams you're trying with. Make sure you are liked and subscribed, and I will see you back for the next video on hopefully the season reviews for Moneyball, so you can get up to speed of where we are. Have a great day. Bye-bye.